Today is April 15, and this is exactly 1 month after President Duterte placed the entire Metro Manila on a lockdown. And as we all know, that was followed by lockdown of Luzon. And a lot of things happened after that. As we all know, the government, little by little or by piecemeal, introduced restrictions or regulations as we went along this 1 month lockdown. And as we all know as well, President Duterte extended the lockdown up to April 30th. And the question now is it going to be extended? Well, we don't know. Now, if you like this video, please subscribe and share as well. Like and comment if you have some information or thoughts to share with our viewers. Now, a few days ago, President Duterte extended the lockdown up to April 30th. We know the reason why, and it's because we were not able to fully contain the virus. And a lot of countries as well, including United States, under President Donald Trump, extended the stay at home is what they call it, or quarantine probably, but not total lockdown, stay at home policy. And President Trump is hoping to open the economy of the United States soon. But as we all know, America is not like the Philippines. The Philippines is a unitary national government. It has a national system of politics. In the United States, it's federal, right? And that's one of the issues now in America as to who has the power to end the lockdown or the stay at home or to open the states or the country again. So according to the governors, especially Democrat governors for example, in New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo, it's the governor or the state itself that has the power to open their economy again. According to Trump, no, I have the authority. If I would like to extend it, I can extend it. If I did place the restrictions and including travel bans. So I will be the one deciding. But of course, we all know that the United States is a federal government, or it has a federal system of government, and the federal government and the state governments must cooperate in order to open their economies and opening their economies. So the worst hit states, as we know so far, is New York, and then California, Florida, New Jersey. And if you notice, most of the most hit states are Democratic states. And the reason why is, well, of course, they have this sanctuary city policy, especially California and New York. These are deep blue states or Democrat states. These are anti-Trump states, and the governors of these states, including most of their voters, millions of voters, especially in California, are Trump haters. They have this chronic TDS. So it's not surprising why they have the most number of cases, because if we can recall, the mayor of New York, Bill de Blasio, including the health commissioner, I think her name is Osiris Tarbot. What a cool name. They encourage, de Blasio and Osiris Tarbot, the health commissioner, encourage their own people to go out, to mingle, to ignore the virus. That was way back, I think, early the first week of March. If I'm not mistaken, it was on March 2nd when Bill de Blasio tweeted his infamous tweet, encouraging the people to mingle and go out and be infected. So that's how stupid this, Democrat politicians are. They encourage their people to go out. In fact, Nancy Pelosi is a Democrat congresswoman or representative in California, of course, a deep blue state. she encouraged, and also, by the way, before I get there, Nancy Pelosi is the House Speaker in the United States. So she's the third rank in command, the third most powerful person in America today. She is the Speaker of the House. And she encouraged the California people, the people in California, to go out and join the Lunar New Year and go or come to Chinatown. That's how stupid they are. They encourage the people, and then when a lot of infected, there were already a lot of infected Americans, and they are now blaming, the Democrats are now blaming the president, despite the fact that it was President Trump who in January 31st banned travels from China, and he was attacked by the Democrats, not only the Democrats but by the WHO, the World Health Organization, or what we call the Wuhan Health Organization, accused Trump of being racist, xenophobic, all right, and racist, xenophobic, and what else? Bigoted, whatever the usual terms they use in order to paint their enemies as evil. So Trump was accused of being racist and xenophobic for banning travels from China. Let me just share with you how these Democrats in New York. So this is a lesson for the Filipino politicians that we have in this country. So good thing, kudos to most of our politicians. They did not encourage Filipinos to ignore the virus. Right, so here is Oxyri Starbot. Oxyri Starbot is the health commissioner in New York, and this was in the first days of March, encouraging the people to go out and ignore the virus.
Risk to New Yorkers for coronavirus is low. And our city preparedness is high.
This should not stop you from going about.
Okay, so this is the mayor of New York, Bill de Blasio. He made a tweet or posted a tweet on March 2, if I'm not mistaken, telling the people to ignore the virus, go out, mingle. There's nothing to worry about. We are prepared. But now, as we all know, thousands upon thousands of New Yorkers were infected. And the first case of coronavirus in the US, which was on January 21st, was in New York, and that person came from Wuhan. All right, so let's continue.
It should not stop you from going to Chinatown and going out to eat. I'm going to do that today myself.
Come to Chinatown.
All right, this is brain dead Democrat Nancy Pelosi. Come to Chinatown. She is encouraging the people to go out and come to Chinatown. And now that a lot of people have died from coronavirus or COVID-19. Coronavirus, by the way, let me just tell you the difference first between the two. Coronavirus or SARS-CoV-2 or severe acute respiratory syndrome. CoV, which means coronavirus 2, is the virus, and COVID-19 or coronavirus disease 19 is the disease that you might get from contracting the virus. So let's continue.
We're again careful, safe, and come join us.
There is no concern at this time for coronavirus in our region.
The Department of Sanitation is ready for Mardi Gras 2020.
The facts are reassuring.
All right, the Mardi Gras is in New Orleans, Louisiana, for those who don't know. So that's the mayor, the woman, the black lady there the mayor in New Orleans, encouraging the people not to worry about the virus, not to panic, and that the Mardi Gras should continue. And the Mardi Gras is one of the national, events that they observe and practice in New Orleans, and that's attended by millions and millions of Americans from all over the country. So let's check on that again.
The Department of Sanitation is ready for Mardi Gras 2020.
The facts are reassuring.
We want New Yorkers to go about their daily lives.
There's really no need to panic and to avoid activities that we always do as New Yorkers. We are a hardy people.
Americans do not need to panic. What I would.
All right, so that montage is basically telling us about Democrat politicians in the United States uh, ignoring the virus and then encouraging the people to go out and mingle. And that's basically the main or primary reason why America is now the leading in terms of COVID cases in the world. And we are now at, I think, more than 1,000 if I'm not mistaken. So I'm checking right now the coronavirus cases in the Philippines, and well, I need to tell you that the reason why we have low number of cases, and this is one thing that we did not do from day one, all right, is because of lack or uh, limited number of testing. We've had limited number of testing, like 1,000 per day, according to our health officials over the past week. So 1,000 from 2,000 from the very first day that President Duterte declared the entire Metro Manila to be in a lockdown on April 15, up to I think 15 days after that, 2,000 2,000 number of tests, and that was disputed by some apologies of the president, saying, well, it was actually more than 11,000, but we just tested, made some tests only on 2,000 individuals. 11,000 tests, but we actually did 2,000 tests on individuals. Why 11,000? Because of mistakes, repeated tests, etc. So the possibility that the tests might have been defective, the test kits, and therefore they needed to repeat the test. So I'm checking right now the worldometers that is collecting the number of cases per country. So 5,453 cases of confirmed COVID-19 patients in the Philippines. We are now at 349 deaths, 353 recovered, which is a good thing. So like I said, the only reason why we have low number of cases, the primary reason I must tell you is because of the lack of tests, or the slow testing process that we've been performing over the past month. Compare that with the United States that already conducted 2 million tests. All right, how did they get to 100,000 cases, if I'm not mistaken? That's the case in America right now. So how did the United States get to have this 616,168 to be exact, COVID-19 cases? The only explanation is they conducted the most number of tests so far per capita. I'm not sure per capita, but could be, it might not be per capita, but the number of tests, because as we know, America has 350 million inhabitants. So per capita, that might be low for 2 million, but so far they conducted 2 million tests, and it turned out that 616,168 Americans were infected, 26,200 deaths. And this is, by the way, dubious. The reason why I say dubious is because unlike China and unlike some reports here in the Philippines, in which there were rumors that some health hospitals or health centers, this is something that we need to investigate. Probably the government should investigate that they are intentionally lowering down the number of tests. I don't know if that's true. The government should be the one interested to look into that. But in the United States, there is an incentive to declare a death, of a person COVID, and they're doing that in California and in New York because of funding. So more COVID deaths means more funding for the states from the federal government. So there is an incentive to declare more deaths. Whereas in China, there is an incentive, or there is a pressure to minimize the number of deaths, despite the fact that we've learned a few weeks back, that there were orders or deliveries of 200,000 urns. All right, and I'm gonna get to that. 200,000 urns. A lot of things actually to tackle, but let's get to that case in China in which China has been deliberately manipulating their number of deaths for propaganda purposes. Of course, China is the Chinese government, and as we know, Chinese or communists are want to uh, make propaganda or spread propaganda in order to make their government look great or good. So I'm checking on that video. But according to this local from Hubei province, so many people have died. 500 urns have been released every day at one funeral home, and there are 8 funeral homes in Wuhan. So this person is actually from Wuhan.
Family members of people who died from the CCP virus have been standing in long lines outside funeral homes in Wuhan to collect their relatives' ashes since March 23rd.
You should have seen the online posts. 500 urns have been released every day at one funeral home. There are 8 funeral homes in Wuhan. Their workloads should be similar. In the online...
Alright, so there you go. China is definitely deliberately or intentionally manipulating the number of deaths for propaganda purposes. But let's get to the issue of possible lockdown extension in the Philippines, and the president of this country, President Duterte, that's gonna depend on whether vaccines for the virus are going to be available. Alright, so as you can see here, there are now 70 coronavirus vaccines in development. A lot of laboratories or pharmaceutical companies all over the world are in the race to produce a vaccine. Of course, they are competing, and there were some conspiracy theories that, in fact, a company in China owned by someone close to the Communist Party patented a coronavirus vaccine that came from the US. All right, that's one of the reports conducted by, if I'm not mistaken, it was the Epoch Times. How long will it take to develop a vaccine for coronavirus? According to experts, it would take some time. Alright, so the answer that they came up with is there's no guarantee that it will be ready before the end of the current outbreak, because they are talking about the second outbreak. We don't know when that's gonna arrive, the second outbreak that's being feared by a lot of people worldwide. But according to some reports, especially from the Epoch Times that is as based in Hong Kong, China just implemented their new or second round of lockdown in Wuhan, in the province of Hubei. All right, there is another lockdown after they opened the city of Wuhan a few days ago. Now there is a new round of restrictions. We don't know how accurate that is, because as we've seen in the past few days, China restricted the arrival of or the reports of foreign journalists in China. There will be clinical trials as well, so it would take a few months. And for Mr. President Duterte to say that it might be on May, that's a very ideal date for this type of vaccine to be made available. But there's no guarantee according to experts. So does that mean that because according to the president, he's saying that it may depend on the availability, the opening of our country again may depend on the availability of a new vaccine to fight off coronavirus. And according to experts, like I said, there's no guarantee that it may be available within 1 to probably 3 months. We don't know. So here's a report from GMA7 on this issue.
Hanggang April 30 ang extended lockdown sa gitna ng COVID-19 pandemic. Pero kung tatagal pa ang lockdown, lagpas dyan, hindi pa malinaw. Sabi ng Pangulo, inaabangan daw niya muna kasi ang isang gamot na ginagawa ng isang malaking pharmaceutical company bago i-lift ang quarantine.
Sabi, by May, baka they would start to market it. Pabili na nila. Ang problema, sabi nga ni, we are on the last ladder. Ang muna niyan yung mga mayaman. Kung meron na yan, tapos makita ko na ginagamit ng tao, ililift ko.
Alright, I like what he said there. Ang mauna niyan mga mayaman, which is actually the reality. And I like that he said that without, the pretense of trying to appear diplomatic. So he's simply saying the reality that, well, as we all know, a lot of millionaires and billionaires in this country are going to be the first ones to have the virus or buy the virus vaccine. I'm referring to the vaccine, not the virus. I don't know the name of the company that President Duterte mentioned in that interview but briefing, because he did not mention. But according to him, they're in the last stages. I don't know which stage this company is at now, but he was given some kind of an assurance that it may be on May. We hope that it's going to be on May because a lot of people in this country are now crying in pain. They are now being affected not by the coronavirus, but by the economic consequences or impact of this lockdown. Millions of Filipinos are impacted. We are a third world country, right? We're a third world country, and if America, they reported that the experts in America or the media in America reported that 16,000 Americans lost jobs. In the Philippines, we don't have that report yet, but according to some reports from the media, millions of families have lost their jobs, especially more than half a million of small businesses, all right, closed. So these are all owned by mostly self-employed Filipinos. And where are they gonna get the money to pay for the salary of their employees? So imagine one salon, hair salon, for example, a barber shop, an eatery. Well, some eateries are still open. So salons, for example, massage parlors, they won't be able to open because these are not listed as essential businesses during this lockdown. So where are they gonna get the money to pay for their employees? So their employees are not being paid as well. So they have to rely on ayuda or rationing from the government, whatever benefits that they're gonna get from the government. In my case, I've not gotten a single cent from the government, not a single can of sardine from my barangay in Makati. So I was not expecting. I'm being paid. I'm lucky that I'm being paid still by my company. Is there any guarantee that the lockdown is gonna be lifted on April 30th or on May? Looks like based on this briefing or statement from President Duterte that it may still it may be extended.